Hi, this is Margo. This is Wednesday afternoon, June the 26th, 2019. And I've been promising an Arctic sea ice update, so we're going to do that today and do a short climate roundup. But I'm going to be focusing on the sea ice and the condition of it to show you how fast it's melting. So this is a picture from Climate Reanalyzer from today, the 26th, and it's quite clear that the Bering Strait is all melted. The Beaufort Sea is melting quickly. It's melted. The Baffin Bay is pretty much gone around Greenland. The Hudson Bay is melting quickly. Here's Svalbard, it's melting quickly around there. Here's Novaya Zemlya, it's pretty much melted pretty much around the coastlines, melting quickly around all of the coastlines of Russia, and it's decreasing here and it's getting thinner too. But I'd like to go back. I've got a slideshow ready for you today, and my last sea ice update was on the 16th, the 16th, so it was 10 days ago. So we're just going to go back and see how it's changed through the days since the 16th, 10 days. Here's the 24th. And you can see dramatic changes just in one day. So that was a big shift from the 19th to the 20th. Look at this hole that opened up on the 18th. Sometimes they open up and then close back up. And then here it was on the 16th. So we're going to come back through our slideshow so you can see the 17th. Here's the 18th where that hole opened up. Here's the 19th where it closed back up. That's because the waves move the ice around and the ocean currents move it around. And if it's thin, a hole can certainly open up and then it can close up the next day. We saw that there too. Here's the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, and here's today the 26th. And here is the 30-day GIF from the Navy website that I've downloaded. It goes 3 weeks back and then a week forward into the future. So it goes it's going through to July the 3rd. And so we can see where it started out. It was, the extent was up to the edges, up all around the coastline. But look at how it's rapidly decreasing, not only in extent but also in the thickness. It's going from this aqua and dark aqua into this blue, which is about 1.25 meters thick, and then quickly into the purplish, which is anywhere from half a meter to about 1 meter thick, just depending. And from what I can tell, the thickest sea ice, which is right here on the edges of these the little Canadian islands where it's red and yellow and orange, that's melting very quickly too, and right here. So it's tremendous melt. And then the next image I have is just from today, June the 26th. Again, this is from the Navy website, and so this is where they're at with the sea ice thickness up in the Arctic. And so this the lavender is quite thin. It's not very thick at all, and when we look at NASA Worldview, you're going to see that that's just like chunks. There's not solid ice where it's in the lavender color. We can see that this Chukchi Sea is melting quickly. The East Siberia ice shelf covers this whole area that's underneath the sea. So we're going to be expecting larger methane releases, and here we can see on this west side of Greenland it's all clear of ice, and then the east side is melting quickly, and it's already melted up here at the northern point of Greenland on the east side. Now I have this is a GIF that I made, a little movie that I made from NASA Worldview, and it's an animation from June the 14th through June the 24th with this sea ice concentration. And so we can see that the different colors of blue, the darker the blue is, the less thick it is. So we can see huge changes in these colors of blue, and especially across the Arctic here. I'll stop it when it gets to the last one. Okay, so here's where it is from 2 days ago, and in order to make to see the sea ice, the sea ice runs a couple of days behind the actual date, so that's why I can only make it go through the 24th, with this being the 26th. This is the most recent that I could get to do this on my own. So we can see that it's getting quite thin up here in this whole northern part. Here's the North Pole, and it's getting a lot thinner up here north of Greenland, and so we're going to be seeing an extreme melt season. And next I have some sulfur dioxide pictures. These are from, this is how the sulfur dioxide is spreading out over the Arctic from that Raikoki volcano that is going off. It is located right down here, but it started exploding. It had on Saturday the 22nd, and it had not done anything since 1924, and it's still going off. It's just that not as much as it was, but this is what's left of the huge first time blasts for the first couple of days. And this is how it's spreading out over the Arctic. And so when it rains or snows up there, this is the Pacific view. What'd I do? This is the Pacific view. This is from today. We can see it spreading all the way across the Pacific Ocean and northern Russia and Alaska, and spreading out over Canada, and spreading west over Siberia. So when it rains or snows up there, then we're going to have sulfur dioxide as an issue there. So there's that. I think that's all my pictures I had. Now We're going to look at the sea ice in just a minute. I've got some other websites I want to show real quick. This is from the National Snow and Ice Data Center. This is from the Arctic, and I have daily, and the latest data runs a day behind on their website. So here it is from yesterday, the 25th, so that matches up with the NOAA data that we saw. And here's the graph of the sea ice extent, Arctic sea ice extent, and it's about tying the 2012 melt now. It's been way below the 2012 melt season. The 2012 melt season is this dotted line, and that was the worst melt season as far as the extent that they've had on record. And so this is just the sea ice extent. This is not the thickness or volume or concentration. This is just how far out the ice is. And so it's been way below record this whole melt season since March. And then it went up above the 2012 line, and now it's coming back tying with 2012 in mid-June. And while we're at it, we can look at the Antarctic, the sea ice concentration. Here's how it's doing, because it's in the middle of winter down there. And here's their graph, and the Antarctic sea ice extent for this year has been the lowest on record, and it's still at the lowest on record for this time of year. So our ice is not looking good, North or South Pole. And then, I don't need that page. Here's the Greenland ice sheet today. This shows us the melting, the surface. Here's the surface melt. Greenland daily melt. Here it is from June the 25th. And these are the salmon color is all the areas that are melting. So huge areas are melting. And then here it is from June the 21st through the 25th, and you can see on this graph the blues are showing all the melting areas, and then when it gets up into the green, it's melting even more. Green and yellow and orange and so forth. And here's the graph that I showed last time. This is the Greenland melt extent for 2019. The red line is this year, and in the first part of June it shot way up. The melt extent was like about 45%, and then it came back down, and now it's going back up. And here's the blue line is the 1981 to 2010 median. So we're way above that. So Greenland's melting fast too. And now let's just take a run through Climate Reanalyzer real quick. This is for today's weather maps. These are the temperatures, the maximum. We can see that in the Arctic it's above zero all the way through the Arctic, except for just this little tiny part over here to the northwest of Novaya Zemlya. And then when we get into the darker greens, that's about 5 degrees Celsius. Then the lighter greens are 10 degrees Celsius, and so forth. And we can see the high levels around the world. Africa's baking. India, Pakistan, these Middle Eastern countries are really baking. Of course, Europe is having a heat wave too. So, and then parts of the United States, everywhere around the tropics are really hot, and the northern part of South America, and so on and so forth. Here's the 2-meter temperature anomaly map. We can see there's some brown in the Arctic, but it's really reddish brown right up here in Siberia on the coast of the Arctic Sea. And here it is in Europe, where it's all brown with the heat wave. Overall, the world is 0.2 degrees Celsius warmer than normal, and the Arctic is 1.4 degrees Celsius warmer than normal. And then here's the flat picture, and the Antarctic, we can see it has areas that's higher, much higher than normal. And here we can see in Australia we've got quite a bit of brown out. This is their winter. We just passed the summer solstice here in North America, and they had their winter solstice at the same time. So it's winter time down there. So here we see a lot of Africa is brown and so on. But look at Europe, it's really brown. But up here in this northern part of Russia and Siberia, it's up into the red zone. The North America is looking in the blue zone, so it's kind of crazy weather because you just don't know whether it's going to be warmer than normal or cooler than normal. And look at this area up in the Yukon where it's a lot cooler than normal. And that's because the jet stream is all messed up. Here we have a part of Greenland that's in the brown, and then the rest of Greenland is in the blue. So, and see, you've got the blue right next to the brown over here in Russia, and so on. Here's our precipitation from today, and it is raining at the Arctic. We've got rain coming up from Siberia and coming across right on the edge of the Arctic sea ice, and we've got a little bit of snow going on here, and then it's raining over here off the coast of Norway, and it's also raining over here right where that sulfur dioxide cloud is. So that's raining acid rain, which is gonna really mess up the ocean. But you know, what else is new? Got a lot of rain going on over here in the Pacific, Indonesia. Here's the jet stream, and we can see it looping here. It's dividing up, and then it's looping down and around and making these crazy loops, so that with these loops there's nothing normal about the weather. Nothing is normal. We are abnormal, and from here on out nothing is going to be normal. Look at this loop here, and coming up and then across, and then we've got another one coming up here. So it's split. We've got two jet streams, one that goes up here and one that goes down across the Middle East and China, and then up and around. And then it loops up and then comes up and down and all around. And then in the southern hemisphere it's divided into two as well, and doing the looping dance. Now here's your sea ice and snow cover, which I already showed this view. Here it is again. And there it is in the Arctic. Here's the sea surface temperature, and we can see that with it being in the purple, it's above freezing. That's like 5, that bright purple is 5 to about 8 degrees Celsius up here in the Arctic. And so with it being that warm, when it comes up in touch with that sea ice, it's going to melt it quickly, and it's also melting from underneath. So we've talked all about that. And we can see high temperatures over here around the mid-latitudes, very high sea surface temperatures. And here's the sea surface temperature anomaly. This is always a day behind, I don't know why. And we can see it's in the red zone up here in the Bering Strait and in the Beaufort Sea. And then it's in the browns here in the Arctic. So whenever it's red or brown, it's going to be melting the sea ice that it comes into contact with very quickly. Around the world, the sea surface temperature is 0.1 degrees Celsius warmer than normal. In the North Atlantic, it's 0.5 degrees warmer than normal. In the Northern Hemisphere, it's 0.6 degrees warmer than normal. In the North Pacific, it's 0.6 degrees warmer than normal. And we can see this whole band down here in the Pacific that's in the brown zone. It comes all the way across. Look how hot these seas are. This is the Caspian Sea. That's red. I forget which one this is. I don't remember what that one is. That one's red, and so on. So there's our tour on Climate Reanalyzer. Now let's come on over to the moment you've all been waiting for. And let's take a tour of the Arctic sea ice. This is from today. We're still missing a little bit of data over here, but it will not affect our tour. We're going to start down here at Greenland. And we can see this west side is ice-free. What you're looking at here, these swirls are clouds. You're looking through the clouds, and then like these little white chunks are little bits of sea ice. So what you saw on the computer animations where it showed a little bit of ice, this is what it looks like. It's just pieces. So that will melt quickly. It's very thin. See, it's melting up in this tributary. We can see how much the snow and ice has melted away from the shores. Now we're looking through clouds here, so it's a little bit hard to tell what's cloud and what's melted. Now here on this eastern side we can see this is not cloud covered at all, and we can see how the snow and ice has melted. Where this brown is, that's the surface. It's like mountains and ground and tundra and things like that. There's a little bit of weird thin ice over here to the east, but not much. And then coming on up, here's Svalbard. By the way, there's been methane releasing from Svalbard, and remember the seed vault is here, buried in the permafrost that is probably melting. It's at Longyearbyen, right up here is the seed vault. Now we're looking through some clouds here, but we can see there's no ice there, and there's no ice around there. If you go back a day or two, you might be able to pick up through the clouds, where the ice is. Here's Novaya Zemlya. There's no ice on this west side, and there's very little ice on this east side. What see is just pieces. So when they show ice, it's not even enough to count in my book. We're looking through clouds at that ice. Here is the Yamal Peninsula. Now I have something interesting to show you here, but I'm going to come back to that. This is all today. We're just going to take a tour of what it looks like today, and then we'll go to days where it's not so many clouds, and you'll be able to see what's really going on. We're just following the Siberian coastline here, so we can get a really good view of the water here, and the edge of the ice, and how fast this is melting. Huge area. Here's the Bering Strait. You can see that's ice-free. We're looking at clouds. A lot of this is clouds. This is the edge of the sea ice, it looks like. Here, this is the Beaufort Sea. That's a cloud there. We can see the edge of the ice here through the cloud, and we can see these are just chunks. It's not solid ice, it's just all broken up in chunks. And this is the area that we were showing in that Navy GIF where the thickest ice had been, and it had melted. It was right along in here, and you can see these areas, it's all broken up. So the thick ice is gone. And then here's northern Greenland again. So let's back out and let's go back. I want to go back to yesterday. Here's Novaya Zemlya. Here's the Yamal Peninsula. And when you zoom in, there's a strange brown. There's a brownish color. I hope people can see that. It's a huge area that's brown that's showing up. And I'm not sure what this is. I don't know if it's sediment. And when we zoom in, we can see brown over here. Brown around the edge of that ice. And I checked back, and last year there was brown coming up in this channel as well. It was later on in the season. It was more like in July. But this started coming up around the 19th of this year. And this is the first really good view with no clouds to see this. At first I thought it might be oil, but then I looked back last year and there was brown here in this little channel. Now this is an area that they have been clearing with an icebreaker, and they've been going around. Remember when I first showed the sea ice this year, there was a trail where they had been coming up here with the icebreaker and going all around, because there's a new what is it, a gas refinery or something like that over here on the coast. So they want to be able to get to that. They just built it. It just opened in December. So I don't know what that brown is. I'm thinking it's sediments, or maybe it's just the water is thin there. Could it be that the rivers are already draining into the ocean there and draining the brown and draining mud and toxins or who knows what through there? I don't know. But that was odd. If anybody has an idea what that is, that would be appreciated. So here is this Chukchi Sea again. Yesterday we can see a real good view of all of the ice here. This is pretty much cloud free. So we can see the big chunks that have been broken up, and it's all blue. Look at this blue-green. I don't know why that is, unless there had been algae and it froze. It froze blue-green. I don't know. I mean, I don't have all the answers. I just show the pictures. So here's the 80-degree north latitude circle, and so we can see it's melted way far in from that already. And then the North Pole is right here at 90 degrees. So it's raining. We saw the rain coming across here. And here's the cloud that we saw where it's coming across, and it's raining. Here was yesterday, so we can see that all of this is ice-free here. This is cloud that we're looking through. And here's this northeast tip of Greenland, and it's already melted there. This is pretty cloud free here. You can really see these little islands pretty clear today. You can see no snow or ice. It's all brown. It's all melted. And this was from June 25th. There you have it. So there's our sea ice update and climate roundup. So we'll record an earthquake report a little later on and get that uploaded too. So until next time, God bless everyone. Go in peace and goodbye.